Hey, welcome to another episode of Matt and Dwight Just Might, a podcast about two Midwestern comics talking about their lives in comedy and a little bit outside of comedy as well. Their wins, their losses, the whole enchilada, if you will. I don't know if anybody else had Christmas enchiladas. I didn't, but now I wish that I had.
We did a lasagna.
Oh, that's like yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Italian enchilada right there.
Yeah, meat and cheese, it counts, right?
It's all the same,
It's
basically, you know.
the untraditional Christmas lasagna.
No, that's good, man. I am your co-host Matt Alano Martin, and with me as always is
Dwight Simmons. Merry late Christmas whenever you're watching this
Happy
or listening.
Holidays.
Happy
Yeah,
holidays if you celebrate.
we should say that as well. People that don't know, we are posting these on YouTube as well. As you know, some people like to do the podcast thing through YouTube, so we're making it available there, as well as all the audio places that you get podcasts. Podcasts have dominated my week. We've had holidays, but I've been on the promo hustle for Tango and Philly, my new special. I think I've been on 5 podcasts already, 5 or 6. It's been a lot. It's been a lot this past week. A lot.
Oh my goodness, that's one a day, man.
Yeah, and a couple. Yeah, and so I have nothing to talk about. I'm all talked out. It's a crossover event. I've dropped little clues in each one of the episodes that I was on. If you put it all together.
Oh my God, yeah, a puzzle.
Yeah.
So you're just plugging other people's podcasts during this one. This is good.
Yeah, well, I'm showing some love. I was on some very nice ones, and I was on Mishka Shabali's. I recorded one with our mutual friend Brent Tehune. That'll be coming out soon. I did Mary Upchurch's. I did a bunch, man. I know I'm missing a few, and I apologize if anybody's listening that I'm not thinking of yours right now off the top of my head, but I did quite a few, and I don't think all of them are out. Also, I think that's another reason why they've come and gone, and I
don't remember.
Yeah. My Google alert has not reminded me that I did that podcast. I did it in a haze.
I love the Google alert for Dwight Simmons because there's a dentist that is in the news a lot.
That seems like a bad thing. You think as a dentist, you'd want to stay out of the news. Why is he in the news so much?
He's got an award or something. I think I just passed him somehow in the Google ranking search. But this dude was on top of me for my entire career.
Oh man! And you also have to deal with the fact that you're a junior, right? Your dad's name is also Dwight.
It is, but we don't do the senior junior thing.
Yeah. You just have to know.
Yeah, you just know. I'm stunting like my daddy out here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I didn't do anything this last week. It was a full vacation. So you're working enough for both of us. That's nice.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I hosted some family, and
that's a lot of work right there. Hosting the holidays is a lot of work.
I would rather do that than travel to Wisconsin and Chicago like twice for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Yeah. It's nice to just the hardest thing is just cleaning up.
That's true, I guess. Cleaning on it's two rounds of cleaning to get it ready. Although I've been to your house, you guys keep your house pretty clean. I'm very impressed with how clean your house, because I've just stopped in before too. Like, you didn't know I was coming, and I popped in, and your house is very tidy. So probably not much of that. Probably just cleaning up afterwards. Denise and I live in such a small house, we can't ever host anything, which is almost a blessing.
This is nice. You'll take that.
Oh, we'd love to, but we just don't have room for anybody. And so,
damn, it's just me, Matt.
Yeah.
It's I can't do it.
Sorry, I can't do it. Yeah, we got a lot of boxes everywhere, and no,
the couch's not even usable.
Yeah, it sounds like we're hoarders. No, but so we went and did the family thing, and it was nice. Like, I don't know, I think I prefer popping in. Get out for a couple of hours at somebody else's place, and then gotta get home and feed the dog.
I hate to eat and run, but I gotta get back to my tiny house where we can't host anything.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It is nice having the dog as there's a definite out. We know we cannot spend the night. We cannot be here for 14 hours. Like, no, we'll put in the time and we'll visit with everybody. But then we gotta go take care of the Braylon. Gotta get that puppy.
Yeah. Man.
This is what people tune into the podcast about. Is hear about.
You guys don't want to hear random dog talk and
if
cleaning
I
of
could,
the households?
if I can tie it in, I do have a new dog joke, so it's still comedy related. It's still fine, everybody.
Fresh on the brain. So what else has been going on promo wise? I know you're still trying to
Yeah,
get the counts up,
yeah,
the view
man.
count.
Yeah, we'll just jump into like some real vulnerable shit here. Like I'm, my special on YouTube is not doing great by even our peers numbers.
Yeah.
It's like last time I checked, it had like 3,500 views, which again, like I said last week when it had just come out, that's great. I don't know 3,500
Yeah.
people. That's people that I don't know. There's only like 2 bad, comments, which I'll take. Because it's like, hey, any engagement's fine. If you want to talk shit in the comment section, at this point, great, bring it on.
The comment, just quickly, the comment you shared about what was it? He was just asking.
That wasn't even on the special. That was on the ad, because I also bought ads. I bought $250 worth of promoted post on Meta. Which has been fascinating. And I do think this is something that's really worth talking about too, because it's been really fascinating to track the numbers on that across the platforms. It's getting like almost no engagement on Facebook.
Yeah.
But on Instagram, it's getting pretty good. And actually I can just pull it up. So, it's been running, I think it's got like 4 more days or something like that to run. Because I did it over 2 weeks. But I'm constantly getting notifications that promoted post on Instagram has gotten likes. So it's gotten 1,300 and some change likes on Instagram, that promoted post, right?
That's great.
Yeah. But 4 comments, 2 of them, well, actually just 2 comments. The other 2 are me replying back, because you got to engage. You got every time someone comments,
count, man.
All comments cost. So it's like, oh, so 1,350 people, but again, like how many people actually click the actual link? And I mean, I can, because I do think this is interesting. I can pull up the thing real quick. I have to go into Facebook to do it, to get into analytics, but I know it's not much. I think about a week into it, I looked at the conversion rate and it's like, it's not good.
Yeah. They say like with click-through rate, if you shouldn't expect an insane number.
Yeah. So far oh wait, that's an old one. Hold on. Let's see here. Looking at an old ad, view results. Okay. Sorry, I didn't have this pulled up before. Okay. So over 9 days, I've spent $152 of my $250 budget. So I guess I still have like almost a week left on this thing. So 1,400 post engagements. Okay. The reach of 3,883, however they do that. How many link clicks do you, because the thing is to click through to link to the special on YouTube.
Click through rate.
Yeah. So how many do you think, how many click throughs do you think I got in my $150 that I've spent so far?
I'm going to say 14.
You were so close. It was 13.
It was 13? I overbid. I don't get to spin the wheel.
No, I'm sorry.
Damn it.
You fell off the Matterhorn, my friend.
It's so really frustrating. I think I was so close because I run ads and you see patterns.
Yeah. And
if you don't have like this outrageous amount of reach, then that click-through rate is going to be, I don't even look at it anymore.
Yeah. It's like, I don't blame you. This is the first time I've looked at it, I think, since after like a day or 2 of it running. So that means I'm spending almost $12 per link click.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And again, it's like one of these things is like, oh, well, this is why like it's so hard to do any of this since social media has become ultra monetized, right? Since every aspect of it, including just regular ass posts, are not going to go to your followers unless you promote them.
Yeah.
It's
infuriating. I feel your pain. Have you seen like an increase of, I forget what you were at before, view wise, before you started running ads, but have you noticed an increase of viewership on YouTube directly?
I don't think so. I mean, of those 13, I guess 13 of them. Yeah, I think 13 of them I can count. No, I think a lot of it was just more for me constantly hammering it. Something I did realize is constantly posting about it on my social media, even though it felt weird to do it.
Yeah.
Because it was the same thing, like trying different formats of like, you know, putting the link in the comments as opposed to putting the link in the body of it, putting an image up and, you know, like with no image, doing the old congratulations trick on Meta,
Congratulations.
which
This is
supposedly
rad.
pushes
Rad's a big one.
engagement. Yeah, rad is a big one. I think that's what I saw where I would consistently get views is if I really kept hammering it, which I took a couple of days off because it's the holidays, and it still feels weird, even if you know. And I even made a post about it, like, I'm sorry if you've seen 8 of these already, these posts.
Right.
But I just broke it down. I was like, most people on my social media, because it squashes, the algorithm squashes it. Most people don't see it.
Yeah.
So I, you know, but it's still like, you know, you don't want to burn out the 10% that do see every one of your posts.
Right. It feels weird to have empathy for people seeing what you promote. You're like, I'm so sorry, I'm bugging the hell out of you. But also, did you watch it?
Yeah.
Did you watch it again? Did you leave a comment?
Did you share it? Did you? Yeah. And,
yeah.
And it's one of those things where, I mean, I think most of our friends get it. Most of the people who follow us get it, you know, but it's like, it's a crazy thing for sure. You know, it's still continuing to tick up and it's fine. And, you know, and it lives on YouTube forever, or until Healing Comedy Studios pulls it or whatever. But, you know, so it might one day get somewhere good, you know, who knows?
Did you have expectations going in? Like, did you set a milestone for what you wanted to see after the first week?
I mean, well, it's like I said last week. I just wanted to be able to hang. I wanted to be in the pack with our friends, people that I considered to be like on a similar level, you know, as far as like similar kind of credits, similar amount of time doing it, you know, that had done specials. And I'm definitely on the low end. I mean, somebody has to be, and I guess it's my privilege to be the bottom of the curve, the bell curve.
Not the bottom of the curve. But it's still early.
It's still early. I mean, but it does when I'm comparing it to other comics who, you know, like, you know, had put out around the same time or whatever. Because I mean, that's the thing also is like everybody's dropping specials constantly all the time now.
All the time.
None of this feels special. We should change the name. It should not be called specials anymore because there's not really much special about them.
Watch my comedy regular.
Yeah. My comedy regular, everybody.
I am horrified. Mine probably won't come out until the summer, so you know the market will be even more saturated. I'm not sure if it's you know, I don't know what to expect, but I can't. Yeah, I imagine it's incredibly frustrating to. Yeah, because you're doing all the promotion yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say that's the thing is like, I mean, part of it is because it came out. You know, it got pushed back and then it came out the week of the holidays and all that kind of stuff. So I understand all this, but yeah, man, the people putting out the special have not, you know, they didn't throw up any YouTube shorts, which is a big thing now. They did do one a couple of weeks ago leading up to the original release date, but they have since put out another special. They put out another special a couple of days ago and they've already put 3 shorts up for that one. And they still not posted about the special on their TikTok. They still haven't pushed. Like, I think because I called the director, I texted the director and I was like, hey man, I haven't seen a single post on either of their social media about this. I know this isn't your department. And he's like, he's like, it's not my department, but I agree that's kind of shitty. He's like, so then I saw all of their Twitter accounts, because they have multiple Twitter accounts, post about it. And then that was it. So not on TikTok, no clips from the special,
no video,
just literally like my tweet. They basically shared my tweet.
Oh my God.
With a link to it. And so
they released your special and took a vacation.
Kind of.
Like, it's the holidays.
So, I mean, and I can make all these excuses and whatever, but you know, it might still have had low numbers, you know, like I'm not great at social media. I'm not a big name. Like I totally get all the reasons why, you know, these might not be, but it's like at the, you know, on the same thing is like, I got to do a 4-camera shoot. I've started clipping it up. I mean, we talked about this earlier. Like I'm going to go the route of ask forgiveness rather than permission. But also like if they try to get mad at me for clipping it up and promoting, it's like everything I'm doing is pushing it back towards the special on their channel.
Plus it should be the other way. They should be clipping this up and you should be sharing it, you know.
Yeah.
Chris
And
Rock's
so
not gonna have to clip up his own special for social media.
Netflix is like, Chris, I'm sorry,
Chris,
we dropped the
we
ball
don't
on this.
we don't
Can
have
you?
time.
Here's a YouTube tutorial on how to put captions on. So I did post my first clip of it on I just posted it today on social media. I put it on TikTok. I did my first YouTube shorts. I literally had to watch a tutorial to figure out like why because I posted like 3 times and it wasn't going to shorts because I didn't hashtag shorts or whatever. And so I'm starting the process of it, and we'll see if any of that pushes numbers and gets it to view. But also, like, as everything we've said so far in this episode and we've talked about before, people just scroll, they don't click.
Yeah, that's true.
They might like it.
Have you watched this? Have you tried to watch shorts? They're trying to make it like
trying to
TikTok.
research. Yeah, they're literally just trying to be TikTok.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 100% TikTok.
This on YouTube though, I don't even know. It's been a couple of weeks since I was on, but and everything changes so fast. But there wasn't like a place. It just like goes to the next clip.
Right.
You know, it's not like, hey, you can
have to
like
purposely
this.
try to catch it. Because like one of the first ones that brought up was Emil Wakim has one, and so I was like, okay, cool. If I like this, how would I do this? And there is a way to like it, because I'm in the short that I put on, it's gotten 700 views already, and I mean I got it up there at like 4 this afternoon because I was doing other stuff, and so that's what 2 hours. So it's great. 700 views in 2 hours, great. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And there are some likes on it, which is cool,
right?
But I guarantee none of them have gone through. I've clicked through.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Everyone's telling people to edit the video at the end to put a call to action because we're all walking marketing companies now. You can't just like something. You got to be like, oh, smash that subscribe button.
Oh, yeah, I can do this. Well, and there's a thing too. Like I tried to have it linked to the special, but I have to sign up for some premium version of YouTube to do that.
Yeah,
it's
outrageous.
These
motherfuckers.
These motherfuckers. All right. I don't want to spend all the time on this because I do want to get through some of the questions, but I do want to talk about 2 comments that I got.
Yes, please.
One on YouTube was just 7 days ago, so pretty much right when it came out. And again, I've gotten a lot of like positive comments, and I know a lot of these people, but also people on here I don't know have commented too. This woman just goes, no. I'll take it. Thank you very much.
Like, was any punctuation or capitalized?
Well, the U of was capitalized, and there's several M's, and then there was a comma, and then no, lowercase no.
That's low key brilliant. I want to know where she was in watching this, that she was like, no.
Well, and I wonder also, so this sort of thing is like, did they actually watch it? Because the clip that the short, not the short, I guess maybe it was a short, but I wonder, like the clip that they did post from my special a couple weeks ago to promo it for the original, it was a thing about Planned Parenthood where I talk about being pro, and that one got a lot of comments of like people like, like that, which great, I'm beta cuck male. The one that I sent to you, I'm trying to find it in my photo section here. This was actually a comment on the actual promoted post. So this was just literally an ad that came through somebody's thing. Let me see here. I can go pull it up real quick. So, and also like, I'm looking at the Facebook, but this was on Facebook, of course, because no one on Instagram has commented. They just liked it and moved on. So on the promoted post and Facebook, I got like 59 thumbs up, 10 hearts or whatever, 4 angry faces, and one laughing face. Well, let's look. Two accounts that apparently were bots and already gone or whatever, but and then 2 other people, and then let me see.
You're pissing off bots with your promotions.
I don't know. But the one that I sent you, that I sent to a couple of people, was a guy, his whole this is a comment on an ad. This is a comment on an ad that literally just says, hey, check out my new comedy special. Right? That's all it is. And it's a picture of me. And this person, who I do not know, just commented, I pray he loves Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, this dude's praying for you just off the strength of a picture. of your face.
Exactly.
He's like, this dude needs Jesus, and I'm gonna make it happen tonight. I pray.
And I really wanted to comment back, like the thing from Head Big and the Angry Inch, where I'd be like, I love his work.
You should reply, no, does not.
Be like, who the fuck is Jesus Christ? Who are you talking about?
Oh man, I want to follow that guy I want to see more of his work.
Yeah, there you go. Just I will say that I did, people that like sent me shitty comments or whatever, or like, because there was a couple on Facebook or whatever, and again, it was all around the ad. It was all around the ad.
Yeah.
I would look at their page or whatever, and like some of them were clearly bought accounts, but some of them were just like, oh, you're just a miserable person that is basically mad that an ad came to your Facebook feed.
Yeah.
And you're taking it out on me. You're taking it out on me, not Facebook.
That's the demographic of Facebook. It's just angry people with time on their hands. We did a couple years ago, did a show at Beer Brewery here in Indianapolis, and I'm good friends with the people there, and one of the bartenders was showing me a Yelp review. It said, beer's good, comedy's too liberal. And of course, they left that on Yelp for a one-off show.
Yeah.
And then you go to his like Yelp profile, and of course it's like an American flag with an eagle sucking off an AR-15 or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
People are wild, man.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't think I've ever left a negative review.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever left a negative review on anything on the public thing. I don't think so. Yeah. I mean, maybe a hotel like through booking.com, if I was just like, yo, this place is gross. So,
don't go here.
Like as a basic heads up type of thing, but not just I'm mad at the business for existing.
Well, you have things to do. You're well adjusted, and you don't got time to dwell.
Yeah. But to wrap up this segment, everyone, if you are listening, we'd like you to do a couple of things. We'd like to like and subscribe to the podcast. We have not said that yet so far. This is our third or fourth episode. Yeah. And we resisted saying that. But if you can like and subscribe to this episode, that would be great. Tell other people about it. And then also watch my special and like it and comment, say something nice. Yeah. Share it with other people. Fuck it. You clip it up. You clip it up and post it. I don't care. Just tag me on it, and I don't care. You can clip it into jokes.
Send them out there, Matt. Send the army out there.
Yeah. Oh man. Should we get into our first our questions? Like we've had like not a lot of time to talk about questions because we had other issues that we wanted to talk about, topics coming up. And so we've been sitting on a couple of these questions for a while. We thank everybody who sent in questions. If you would like to send in a question or a topic you'd like to hear us talk about on a future episode of the podcast, we do have a Gmail now. I did take the 2.5 minutes that it took to set it up.
Say word.
And so it is just Matt and Dwight at gmail.com. I tried to get just might at gmail.com, but that already exists, so don't send it there. So it's just MATANDDWIGHT at gmail.com. You can send us any kind of questions you have for either one of us or topics you want us to talk about on a future episode of the podcast.
Or teach us how to win at social media. That would be good too. This doesn't have to be one directional, educational, self-help bullshit. You can help us out too.
Yeah. No, we will definitely take any tips that you have for sure, because we are both bad at this. Okay, so I've got the Twitter thread pulled up of people asking questions. You've got the Facebook one pulled up. Which one do we want to start with?
Let's start with the Twitter ones. I like some of those on there.
Okay, cool. Well, we kind of have a funny one. We'll come back. We'll save this one. We'll save Gwen Sunkel, who's a very funny comedian, sent us kind of a very sweet, but also kind of mostly a joke question about how did we get such hot wives.
I don't know, Gwen.
That I feel like that has to be for the Patreon. If you want to know. Suddenly this turns into the game.
Yeah.
With
I'm changing my name to Mystery.
Dwight Mystery Simmons.
I don't like it. Change it back.
Oh man. For those of you not watching the YouTube, he really quickly put on a fuzzy hat and they took it right back off. He tried it, it didn't fit. It didn't like it.
Peacocking no more.
Oh man. But here's the first legitimate real question that we have on deck. And comes from Seth Johnson. Seth Johnson, a big supporter of not just comedy, but all kinds of arts in the Indianapolis area and surrounding area. And a great journalist too. Great journalist, Seth Johnson. He asked, in what ways has it helped / hurt you to come up as comics in the Midwest? What are the pros and cons of living in this part of the country while also pursuing comedy professionally? Which this is, in a lot of ways, is almost kind of like the thesis of the podcast, and I think in a lot of ways. So this is a good one to get into. Dwight, why don't you get us started, and then I'll jump in with some dumbass asides.
What I'm grateful for now, living here in the Midwest, I talk about all the time, is that we're in such a good travel radius to so many cities that you get to see so many good comics. It's 2 hours from Cincinnati, 3 hours from Chicago, and go to Nashville, and go to Louisville, I can go to all these places and like be back home the same night. So I think it's a different experience than living on the coast. Like when I lived in New York, you see different styles, but the successful New York style, every city has a style, and so I like being able to experience all those different styles of comedies from different regions, and it feels like it pushes me and inspires me in a way that didn't happen in New York. Like when I lived in New York, it was like hustle, 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 and opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. You don't just go to hang; you go to hang for a purpose.
Right.
You go to put FaceTime in, which you do that at clubs here as well. But it's you can actually go and hang and enjoy yourself.
Well, let me just put a pause right there for you. Do you think part of that? First of all, I agree with everything that you said. I've never lived in New York, but I've done shows on the coast and in major cities, outside of the Midwest as well. So you do get a sense of what the life of the comedians there are when you spend a week in that city doing all the shows and stuff like that and talking to people. But do you think that you're able to enjoy the hang just for the hang's sake now because you're at a point in comedy, particularly in your scene, where you don't have to put in the FaceTime like a newer comic? I feel like there's Indianapolis comics and Bloomington comics and other Midwest comics that they're relatively new. The hang is still somewhat strategic.
Yeah. Yeah, more than likely. More than likely, that's it. Indianapolis in particular right now is just as strong of a scene as it ever has been. So the shows are just a little bit stronger, which makes life way more enjoyable.
Yeah.
I don't go to a lot of open mics anymore for that very reason of like, holy shit, I gotta watch 30 I've done this for a decade. I put in my time, baby. So probably, status. I think if you were to give advice to a young comic, part of it would be you need to go to shows that you aren't on. You need to go and hang out. You need to watch live comedy as much as possible. And I'm at a different stage of, trying to stay sane, keep my house clean, and not blow my brains out.
Yeah. Well, and again, like you said, you've put in a decade of that already. Like the meat grinder mics where there's 30 comics, and and what's even worse is when you go to those and you're not even one of those 30 comics, and you're really like, why am I here?
Did I get anything out of this?
Yeah. And so I think that there's definitely something to it that I do want to just add the strategic hang to the younger comics. You can tell, when it's more strategic than it needs to be. Right. Like there's a strategic thing of like showing, and even now, a club that I am already past at, if I happen to stop in and hang out, I'm more likely to get rebooked than if I just send them my emails all the time. Right. Even if I've worked there several times over the years, if I'm around and they see me, there's a good chance to be like, oh, let's go in the office real quick. What weekend do you want to do? Like there is that. So that is a strategic thing. So I'm not putting this all on new comics, but there is definitely the younger comic sucking up to like the older comics and the club and everything, that it just like, just be a human being, just hang, this is different. It's just similar but different to like not being creepy, right? Don't be a creep,
Right.
but also just like, dude, like don't make it so obvious that the only reason you're talking to me is because you're trying to get something from me, right?
Right.
And which is
chill out.
Yeah, which is a thing I think, just not even comedy related, just human being related.
Yeah, that's part one of the pickup podcast.
Yeah.
Dwight Mystery Simmons.
Yeah,
Be a good person.
The misdirection, so they think you're a good person.
The misdirection.
I would say one of the things that helps coming up in the Midwest, as a comic in the Midwest, is we get so much more stage time so much earlier, which can be a blessing and a curse. Like in a bigger scene, it's like 3-minute bucket mics, and then even if you work your way up, you might only be doing a 10-minute spot on a really great show.
Yeah.
I mean, in the Midwest, as far as when we started, like it wasn't long before we were doing 30 minutes,
right.
And that's good and bad.
Yeah.
It's like, if you are willing to step up to that and write and have a good 30 minutes and continue to perfect it and work on it, that's great. If you are doing a 30-minute spot and you really only have 15 or even 10, then that's the bad part of it, right? Like the fact that it is so easy to get more stage time here.
I'm
just
guilty. That's I mean, I was never gonna say no to a paid spot, like especially when they weren't happening that often.
Yeah.
And that was like, all right, every joke I have adds up to 22 minutes. If I talk slower, then now I'm at 28 minutes. Just every bad comic trick that you tried. Like, oh, so what else you guys want to talk about?
Yeah. Laughing at your own jokes, slapping your leg with the microphone, all the, I mean, and that's what I tell comics too. Sometimes a comic will ask, like, hey, I've been asked to do this. I've never done that much time before. If it is a bar show, if it goes badly, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I mean, don't do it if you only got 5 minutes and you're trying to fill 30. But if you have like 20 something and you think you can make it, like, jump in, try. Do you have enough time? Like, is it far enough out that you have a goal now? I got to write another 5 minutes or 10 minutes that I like to fill in this gap or whatever. Now, you don't want to do that with a club. If it's your first time featuring in a club, and then you whip it all weekend long or whatever, then that's definitely that's terrible. You should be more honest, in that aspect with yourself and with also the club. But I will say that those opportunities to get longer sets is, to this day, still a benefit, because like if we were 10 years of one in a major city, we'd be on better shows, but we still would only be doing, it's hard to write your hour if that's the goal. Like and I've talked about this on the podcast before. I think for me, the way I do comedy, the goal is always to write a new hour, perfect it, put it out, start over, right? Man, when you're only getting 10-15 minute sets and it's all showcase style, so to also break this down on why this happens so much in the Midwest and in the South and other parts of the country that aren't major cities. Major cities have almost all their shows are showcase style. You'll have 6 comics minimum usually, and they're doing 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever. And, but everywhere else, it's kind of like the 80s, MC doing 10 to 15, feature doing 30, headliner doing 45 to an hour. Like that classic formula does not really exist in big cities. Like even if you see a famous person at the Cellar, you're only going to see them on stage for like 15 minutes, maybe.
15-20 minutes. Like that was the biggest adjustment. The pro of that is becoming a really solid host, and I think this is into the next part of the question is I wish I knew how important hosting was from the get-go, because once you master becoming a good host, you master so many different parts of comedy. So you have starting a show, picking up the crowd, recognizing energy dips, bringing the crowd back up, maybe crowd control. If you're hosting, it's your show, and the good hosts are great comics. And early on, I didn't realize how essential that was, because you look at you look at host as like the bitch spot.
Yeah.
Everything, whatever. Like you got to do everything. Like you got to pick up the headliner from the airport, and get
Mm.
his coffee, and then you got to start the show cold, handle hecklers, go back up and fill time. Just all the shit that needs to get done on a comedy show, the
Yeah.
host does. So you hate hosting at first. Now I love hosting
Well,
now.
no. First of all, you love hosting because it's your first real. I'm actually in at this club. I'm actually working this club on the weekend. I'm working. I just got to pick up this very famous comic at the airport. They didn't
You
talk to me on
were
the car ride at all, but I got to pick them up.
they were.
And
I was late to Bob and Tom
they
because
tweeted,
of
they
this.
tweeted, they tweeted like something passive aggressive about me,
They talk
but
shit about my car.
yeah, they talk shit about my car that I no. But then you very quickly comics will then like, oh, like hosting sucks. And it's the same thing. Like I hosted in Oklahoma City for Ben Brannard because like he was bringing his own guy. I'd asked to feature, and I'm like, I love hosting. Hosting's great.
Yep.
It's like, it's everything you said too. Like having all the skill set of coming into a cold room, starting it and getting it popping. Like that comes in when you're headlining and there's that energy dip, which you could be doing well. And there's still an energy dip because if you're headlining a show and, you're halfway through, they've already sat through an hour plus of comedy and they're starting to get angsty, or like the check drop just happened. So now they're all distracted. So all those muscles you learn as a host they're crucial the entire time for sure.
Yep.
And I remember being at the Attic. This is a couple years ago now. I was in the green room. I don't even know if I was supposed to be on the show. I think I was probably supposed to be. And it was just an open mic. And Jared's like, hey, I need you to host somebody to one person. They're like, I just hosted last week. Can somebody else do it? They were one of the 4 comics in rotation or whatever. And I was just like, I'll host.
Yeah.
I was like, because there was another comic who could close it out, because I think I was there to close it out. And I was like, well, we'll just let them close it out and I'll host. And, and I had fun doing it. Now, would I want to host an open mic all the time now? No, I mean, not particularly, because again, it's more like you talked about. I've done that I've been around comedy for so long that open mics, as you do this longer and longer, open mics, you more and more just want to come in, do your spot dip. Like if I come to do an open mic now, I want to go first. If not first, I'm going to go in the first like 4 comics.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against everyone else on that lineup. It's just like, this is my gym. And when I go to the gym, I go in and do my reps and I leave. I don't hang out and watch everybody else working out.
Yeah. Just that would be odd.
Yeah.
That would be weird. But at an open mic, they're like, oh, why didn't you watch me work out? You asshole.
But that being said, like if I, and like I hosted for Deanne Smith when she came through, because like there was a mix up and I just went to watch that show, and I got there and they're like, hey, funny thing, would you like to host? Because there was a mix up. I was like, yeah, I'd love to jump on the show and host. Who gives a shit? I think that's an important thing, for sure. Wrapping up on Seth's question, one of the things we talk about is like, we've talked about like specifically in comedy, but we've not talked about how it's hurt coming up in the Midwest.
Yeah.
And I think a big one that's very obvious is there's just no comedy industry in the Midwest. I mean, there's occasionally they come through, they come to festivals or whatever, but even in like Chicago and Atlanta and places like that have big, huge scenes, Denver, all the comics who made it out of there and made something big, they may have gotten like some inklings of discovery in their home scenes by doing festivals or getting pushed by like an important person in that scene, like a club owner or something like that. But 9 times out of 10, like, I mean, we all talk about Chad Daniels. Chad Daniels is maybe the only comic to ever make it to that level without ever moving to a major market.
Right.
There are comics who make it really big and then move back because then like they're like, but he just kind of did it from there. And which in there was like the middle of nowhere, Minnesota. Like he was 2 hours outside of Minneapolis even. And so not having any comedy industry, like your goals have to be very different. Like you and I have both been able to submit for JFL. I've been able to submit to the Tonight Show for consideration. And I get very nice emails back on like, hey, like this joke, but this joke's not so much. And like, blah, blah, blah. But it's such a long shot.
It is. It's the submission.
It's
not the, okay, someone's watching a video of me. It's not the this
not in
person
the
happened
room.
to be in the room
Yeah.
when I did a set at,
Or seen
Comedy
you
on
do
Broadway.
Yeah, seen you do multiple sets.
Right.
Jessica Pilot, who used to book for Colbert, was well known for going to the clubs and trying to find new people. Like a lot of the people who got Colbert the last couple of years that she worked there, once they kind of like, okay, she knows what she's doing, we're going to trust her to put whoever on, were people that was their first TV spot, and it was people that were just young, hungry comics coming up in the New York scene.
Yep.
That's not going to happen in the Midwest,
No, sir.
And so that's one of the biggest, I would think, is that it's just like your goals have to be very different. Which is why I think you see more and more of us, again, combined with the stage time, more and more of us follow the path of like, okay, we record hours and we put them out and we try to get them on Sirius XM and we get some money because Sirius XM is real money, right? And then we, back in the day of CDs, you had something to sell. Now you can sell those CDs,
Yeah.
It's a very different mindset and goal than I've got to get my perfect 5 to 7 to get my late night spot, or I've got to get my perfect 15 to 30 to get my Netflix or Comedy Central presents.
Right.
Like very few. I mean, I don't. I think I maybe know a handful of comics in the Midwest who have representation, and they all got pretty big on their own.
Yep.
Through
it's like
viral videos or
social
whatever.
media and shit like that. So
that's the biggest part of it, is like, we're the opportunities are not the same.
Right. And you can do comedy anywhere. It's like Matt said, it's goal setting, it's expectation setting. Because it's, at the end of the day, it's comedy. It's going to break your heart no matter where you live. It's going to make you extremely happy. It makes me happy all the time. And sometimes I'm like, we joke about it. This is what have we done for the last decade,
Yeah. And that idea of it, like, also it'll break your heart no matter what. Like we know people who have gotten late night spots, and we know people who have gotten Comedy Central things, who still get their heart broken by comedy all the time. So it's not it's not, you're not free from it just because you get those things, for sure.
Right.
All right. I think that's pretty good. Anything else that we want to add to Seth's?
Nah, that was good. Thanks, Seth.
Yeah, thanks so much for writing that in, Seth. I appreciate that. Make sure you check out my special. Appreciate you, Seth. All right. All right. I think we got time for one more. Let's take one from the Facebook thread.
Okay. I got one from Jenny Porter Tilley on the...
Another journalist. Did you know that Jenny? Okay. Yeah, this is our theme. Yeah.
I forgot where she worked.
She worked at the Herald Times for a long time, and then now she's with a much bigger paper for their digital. She's a digital online content person for USA Today, maybe something like that.
I just went to her profile.
Okay. Yeah,
we're stalking you, Jenny.
We're stalking you, Jenny.
Lesson 2 of the Dwight Mystery Simmons podcast. Good at stalking people.
Once they think that you're a nice guy, it makes the stalking much easier.
Yeah, she hit accept on the friend request. I didn't make her do that. Jenny says, Def needed an episode about Bloomington comedy rules and why other clubs need them! Rules in capital. So this sounds like Jenny went to a show where they didn't have comedy rules. Do you want to explain what she means when she means Bloomington comedy?
Yeah, well, I think, because the Comedy Attic, and they're not alone in this. They do a great job of it, but there are other clubs that also, they present an expectation of the audience up top, usually through a video. And they're very famously, like the Improvs for a long time had a video with Todd Glass, where they shot this whole production of him like going through a club and like basically pointing out all the things you shouldn't be doing, right? You shouldn't be on your phone, you shouldn't be talking, blah, blah, blah. Jared, the Comedy Attic, has a video. They show all the upcoming comics, clips of the upcoming comics, and then there's a video of Jared, and he's just talking directly to the audience from the screen, and he's just like lays it out very nicely. It's like, hey, like, no talking, no yelling out, blah, blah, blah. It's changed over the years, but basically it's, no talking at your table. Don't have your cell phone out, have it off, put away. I'm trying to think I mean, that's really, I mean, that's the thing. It boils down to basically
don't
that.
like heckling. He's very clear that heckling does not help the show. This is not what comics want.
Yeah.
And saying that out loud specifically is jarring to people. I've seen comics that have never been to the attic hear him say that up top and they lose their mind. They're like, why doesn't every club do this? It makes so much sense.
Yeah, and so basically you set forth this expectation, which then also if you have to kick somebody out for heckling, they can't say they didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, what? I'm just trying to help the show. Well, you were told at the beginning of the show not to do the thing that you did, and we gave you 2 warnings. Comedy Club on State, does a great version of it. They don't have a video. And I wish I could remember this dude's name. He was the sound guy there forever. And he would do the most hilarious thing about where he's going through the rules. And it's like, but he would just be like, you will get 1 warning. There is no second warning. The second warning is us kicking you out and us pointing and laughing at you as we kick you out, because we love nothing more than kicking people out. We love it so much. Please. Like, he just made it this whole thing. And
I've waited my whole life to kick somebody out. This is incredible.
And I'm not, you picked this one, so I'm not purposely making another promo for my fucking special. But literally my special starts with them giving the same rules of like no heckling during the show, no talking on the show. And then it cuts to the drunk woman I have to handle. And she says, was that a joke? That's how my special starts.
Yep.
Is before I even step on stage, the rules being presented, and then this woman questioning it, because there's a lot of those people out there in the world, because they've never been to a comedy club that doesn't enforce the rules, because a lot of comedy clubs don't, unfortunately. A lot of comedy clubs, it's just the Wild West up there,
Yeah, for sure.
And even if they do have the rules during the announcements before they bring up the host, if they never enforce those rules and people regularly come to the club and they know that, then they just ignore it. It doesn't matter,
It doesn't. Like, I was in Rochester, Minnesota, and had just the drunkest table. It was at like a 7:30 show, and the club did not do anything until I'm 20 minutes into my set. Some brave waiter finally comes over, server, excuse me, and comes over and, hey, could you shut the hell up? And they're like, what? We're just having a good time. It's like, this shouldn't have been an issue from the get-go. We used to run a show here called the Sunday Show, and it's still running, but it used to be at the Alley Cat Lounge, and the bartender would give the greatest the comedy show is about to start announcement. Corey Ewing, who's a great poet and an awesome bartender, giant voice, bar full of people, music would stop. There's a comedy show about to start, and it's just record scratch. And he's just, we will, if you're being an asshole in general, we will remove you from the show. If you're here to laugh, please enjoy the show. Don't make us be an asshole. But it does like, okay, snaps people awake. We came here for a thing, and we can enjoy that thing.
Well, and it also lets people who, that's a bar show, which is different, because a lot of times people in a bar don't even know a comedy show is about to happen.
Right.
Like ambush comedy, and if
everyone's
like,
favorite.
Yeah. And if they were just like, oh, okay, what the fuck? Like, this is my bar. I hang out in it. I'm going to talk if I want to, my friends. So just having that sort of thing of like, yo, this is a comedy show. If you don't like it, if you don't want to be for a comedy show, leave right now. Go to the side room of the bar, whatever you want to do. I think that's so incredibly important, and it should be done everywhere for sure. I've been going back through my old days trying to think of the name of this club, but there was a club in one of those neighborhoods of Detroit. I don't think it was Hamtramck. It might have been. It's luckily
that was
no
like
longer there.
The brewery, and you like hang out in the back, or no?
No, it's like it was upstairs above like an Irish restaurant, I think, or whatever. But it was a full-time like comedy club.
Okay.
But it was so crazy. Like I did a weekend there with Paul. Oh God, man. I'm, as usual on this podcast, I cannot think of anybody's name, even though I love them very much. What is Paul's name? Not, of course, I know a million Pauls on Facebook. It doesn't matter. I was with a comedian named Paul. You guys figure it Why can I not think of his name? I feel like I talked about him on the. God damn it. Anyway, can you edit this out
Yeah,
and
yeah.
let me
I'll
pull up
just
my actual
bleep
friend list.
the last name. Just bleep it.
Well, now I want you to leave all this in. You had a great zinger there. Don't let everybody. Paul Strickland. God,
Paul
no,
Strickland. Okay.
Paul Strickland.
I
Paul
didn't.
Strickland was.
I did zero to help you out there. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
honest.
that's all right. Paul Strickland was headlining and I was featuring, and they was just like, it was crazy, like how much talking there was in the room. An actual fist fight broke out. It was like a Friday and Saturday
What?
weekend. A fist fight between two patrons breaks out. There's no one in the room besides us, like the
Oh my
comics on the
God.
stage,
Yeah.
and then this crowd of people that are like overserved and crazy and everything. So there's like a fight happening. I go into the manager's office, and the manager and the co-manager were like, and this is way before this time, but they were like basically like Instagram influencer model ladies or
Okay.
whatever. Like
Yeah.
they look like they did this, but then they also worked at the car show. They stand next
Yeah.
to the BMW or whatever. But these like
That's
very petite, blonde women that look like they've never done any work. I'm gonna be
physical
really
labor.
honest.
Yeah.
Like I didn't understand like how they got this, and I'm not trying to profile, but they just like they weren't managing shit. Like my
Right.
point being, like, and in their office you could hear the fight. I'm in their office and I was like, yo, there's a fight going on. Do y'all have security or
Oh
whatever?
my
They're like, no.
God.
And then that was it. Their answer was no, we don't have
No.
security. And I was like, and so no, there's no one to handle this. No
Oh
one
my
is.
God.
So
Who
it
books
was
that?
the fuckers thing. Well, it's gone now. I wish I could think the name of this place, but it was like the sort of thing where they had all the backstage. They had every comic had written their name on the walls and
Yeah.
everything. And Paul and I both kept like putting it off when the local host was like, "Hey, you guys," because neither one of us wanted anybody to know that we were there.
Yeah. That's
We're just
horrifying.
like, no, just
Yeah.
give us our money.
I don't.
Like,
You probably scrubbed the internet, so that's why you can't find anything. I was never here.
yeah.
That's
Jesus.
amazing.
Yeah, it
Nope.
really was. It was unbelievable for sure.
Uh-oh.
And here's the thing: is like I don't know if a saying of the rules would have helped there, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't have hurt. I know that much.
A fist fight breaking out at a comedy club is just so insane to me. Like,
It's like,
what
yeah, we're all
what
here
was
to have
the
a good
joke?
time and also kick some ass. Well, the thing is, like, it was nothing to do with the joke. It was like the two just drunk people in a room next to each other, like beefed up, puffed up dudes were like that's what caused it. It had nothing to do with the show itself. They were oblivious to the fact the show was happening.
It's just, yeah, rules are important, but sometimes they can't do anything when people are just going to be assholes anyway.
Yeah, I mean, again, I will say that the reason that every club should do it is then if you do have to kick somebody out, you've got precedent. You've already
Yeah.
talked about it. It's like, whereas they can argue, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to talk if you never said anything about them not talking.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's I like the announcement up top as well, because when I first started hosting at both Morty's and Crackers, Morty's no longer a club, but Crackers made the MC read the rules and the announcements, and it was like as soon as you step on stage, like you couldn't mix it around, you couldn't tell a couple jokes first. It's just like you walk on stage and read the announcements, 2-item minimum. You turn into a salesperson. Also, please no heckling the comics. And also, here's my first joke.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when there's a video, the host doesn't have to do that.
Right, exactly, because it's really setting the hosts up to not have a great set, because first they've come out, they've tried to sell something, and then the next thing is that they were the principal and they're telling everybody like, I've seen people go up and be so hard on the way that they do the rules that the audience then doesn't want to laugh. They're just like, oh shit, like, are we allowed to make any noise whatsoever?
Yeah,
and
I think we just experienced that at the Grove.
Yeah, we did. Although I think that was less to do with the rules and more with the MC's act.
Just overall.
Yeah. the first night. The second night the MC was great, but
Yeah.
so it is a gentle balance. You still want everybody to feel like they're there and they're having a good time, but it's definitely important for sure. I'm thinking this. Oh, I found it. Joey's Comedy Club in Livonia, Michigan. That was the name of it.
No idea.
Joey's. It was
thankful I never did Joey's.
I heard that, and comics would say this, like, they would be like, oh, this place used to be great. It used to be,
sure,
and under the original owner, the original manager or whatever. But it was just like, whew, man, even back then. And so this is going back, like, what year was that I did it? This is 2013 that I did this. So almost 10 years ago. Right.
Damn.
And, young, just getting out on the road feature, like my second year featuring on the road. I still did not go back to that club.
Yeah.
I think it still was open for another year or two, and I just was unavailable the weeks that were offered to me to do that club.
Yeah, I can't do that. I'm sorry, I can't do that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't have that one. Yeah.
That's on me.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that Jenny, it sounds like you had a bad experience, and I don't know, just keep going to the Comedy Attic. You don't go anywhere else. Don't go anywhere else except to your computer to watch my special. Okay. Anyway,
if you want to see how crowd work is done in the most delicate, savage way, watch Matt's special.
Oh man. But yeah, I think that's pretty good, man. We're coming up on what's our time?
Yeah, we're right at an hour.
Okay. Yeah, this is good. So we're both off the road for a little bit longer. I guess actually I only have like a week left. No, yeah, but like I have another week off, and then I'm back on the road. What about you?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Middle of the second week in January, back at it, but nothing. January 1, that's when I'll buckle back down creatively. So the part of not being on stage is, rewriting and listening to sets and just doing some last minute stuff to prepare for the special.
Right. So. Well, I think this is good because this will give us our episode next week. We'll be able to get into a few more of these questions. And
that's perfect.
And so it's gonna be good. Thank you everybody who did send in a question. We will get to them as soon as we can. If you would like to send in a question or topic for us to cover, once again, it is just mattanddwight@gmail.com. So it's MATANDDWIGHT@gmail.com. That is going to be the official communication hub of this podcast. Yeah. Like and subscribe, share the podcast. We're pretty proud of this thing. I know that seems like egotistical to say, but I feel like we are kind of getting some good information out there. And I've had some people message me and say that they're digging it. So hopefully you have too, Dwight.
Same. Yeah. Yep. Okay. It's been nice to have comics come up and say, thanks. We would love to get some more questions so we can stockpile them. Yeah. And then, like Matt said, spreading the word is the best way to help us keep going.
Yeah, I would say I've got, just from the Twitter thread, we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 really good questions left in the Twitter thread alone, not even getting into the Facebook one. So I think we're good for the next couple episodes at least. So, but yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys. But until then, and until next week, thanks for listening. And listen to the rules. Just obey the rules.
I pray Jesus.